It's later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, live on Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. Wait a minute. Speaking of YouTube, I open up the chat, and Daryl Sexton, who is a longtime listener and supporter of the show, if you don't know, the YouTube section has their own chat community. And he says, evening Mo-Migos. Is that what they're calling themselves now? The Mo-Migos?
I kept forgetting to bring it up to you. We need to get shirts done of that.
Mo-Migos.
Yeah. So they're the Mo-Migos.
That's the community on YouTube. Oh, okay. I'm glad that no one told me.
It could have been a lot worse.
No, it could have been much worse, especially if you had any input.
Well, I mean, knowing how much I respect you, I mean, I wouldn't expect.
Define much. Is it closer to little or a lot?
It's really unquantifiable.
Apparently, it was started by Eric Lasardo.
Oh, okay.
What about if it was the mofos?
Oh, now we're talking.
There you go.
Mofos.
Oh, I like that.
Maybe that ought to be a poll in the chat.
There you go.
Gardisha.
I like Mo-Migos, but the mofos?
Yeah.
You can't wear mofos everywhere. I'm assuming that it's probably not welcome in certain environments.
Well, but don't wear it to church.
Dude, out of my head, you. Get out of my head.
Oh. Don't worry. None of you go to church anyhow, so it doesn't matter.
True enough.
Yeah, true. Okay.
You're a bunch of heathens.
Okay.
But speaking of hell being hot, did you get a load of the weather today? I actually loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Oh, thank you.
Mark, tell me what happened. Are we getting ready to go through a heat spell?
Well, it's a pretty brief one. I mean, by the time Friday gets here, it's going to be pretty much upper 70s all the way through Memorial Day. Are you working Memorial Day, by the way?
Yes, I'll be here.
That makes all of us.
Well, okay.
All of us being.
And I found I'm mistaken that heat is so hot that good old Mark is showing off his gams.
Yeah.
I'm really flattered that you noticed, Foosh. Do you find me attractive?
And it's not.
Why are you got to make
Mark,
it weird?
you're wearing shorts?
Yeah.
Hey, hold your leg up for the camera.
I think not.
No. Be proud of your chicken legs.
No.
Hold your leg
No,
up.
there's no need for that.
Show some leg. Show some leg.
I'm not here to perform for you swine. I'm just going to remain seated. There's no need for that.
No, people have never seen you in shorts.
Well,
You have a fan club, okay?
They don't need to.
You have a huge fan club. They want to see those sexy legs.
From the waist up, I look completely professional, and it was just super hot in North Hills when I left today. It's
hot everywhere.
This was not a pants day. This was if I owned a kilt, it would be a kilt day.
Him wearing shorts is like me wearing pants.
That is
never?
true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I've never seen you in pants.
I know, exactly.
But I've seen Mark in shorts, though.
It gets hot here. I'm very delicate and sensitive when it comes to the heat.
That's not true, but okay.
What?
Yeah, he's not
wears
delicate or
black
sensitive
every
about
day.
anything. Right.
Okay.
He's obviously accustomed to the heat. But anyhow,
Yes.
I actually do like the heat. Thank you for throwing out my government name. I actually do like the heat. It doesn't have to be hot, but I appreciate the general heat, if only because I don't like the extreme of cold. If it's hot out, I can turn on the air conditioner. And I remember saying, and I'll remind you, my first car did not have air conditioning. It was a Nissan NX 2000, 1992, because I only made like $19,000 a year at the time. I was working for the Los Angeles Chamber Orchestra. So I leased a car, and with the options, I had the option of getting an automatic or manual transmission. Manual, save money. And it used to be where you could get it with or without air conditioning. Back then, it was an option, and I opted not for the air conditioning to save money. And I had the option of power windows or rolling crank up and down the windows. Cheap ass me. I went the non-motorized windows, and it was bare bones, basics. That's how I tried to save money. Now, 25, 30 years later, I can't imagine getting into a car without power windows and air conditioning. You couldn't pay me.
No, you're absolutely right. When I first moved to Seattle from the Midwest, and I guess it would have been, I don't know, the mid to late 90s, nobody in Seattle had AC in their cars, and they thought I was out of my mind. But then, because of this climate change, which absolutely doesn't exist,
What?
you can't buy a car without air conditioning now.
You cannot, and I don't want to buy a car without air conditioning now. I'm officially my father in that regard. He said, how could you buy a car with no air conditioning? I can't ride with you. It's like, that's okay. It's my car. But now it's like, I'm not going to get into someone's car without air conditioning.
And was it a stick shift too?
It was 5-speed. It was a 5-speed.
Wow.
My Honda S2000 was 6-speed.
Yeah.
That was 6-speed, but it was just a 5-speed. And the car I learned on, my father's 1976 Honda Civic, was just a 4-speed. They were just starting to make 5-speed transmissions.
But they're all manual?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
This is the first car I've ever had owned that was not a manual transmission. I prefer driving stick, even today. You just can't. Oh, yeah. There's just very few places to find it now.
You don't like the cool hybrid, just kind of just when you're.
No, I enjoy it, but I like the process of driving a stick shift. I like to be able to downshift. I like to have the control of the car in the way that you just don't with an automatic transmission. You just accelerate and brake. It's kind of boring. On this car, I still have my right hand on the shifter as if I'm going to shift. That's where my hand has always been placed.
Well, you need that hand free for a drink. What do you think? You're Steve McQueen or something?
No, well, it's not like I'm texting and driving, so I got to put my hand somewhere.
Okay.
And also, I'm left-handed, so it makes it real difficult to text and drive.
I never knew that about you.
Yeah, well, put it this way. I'm left-hand dominant when it comes to things which require skill. In other words, if I'm going to pick up a glass, if I'm going to write something, it'll be with my left hand.
What's your business hand for smacking somebody?
Right hand.
Okay.
Right hand smack.
My left hand is the brains. My right hand is the brawn. So if I'm trying to hurt you, I'm going to use my right hand. If I'm trying to do something which requires finer detail, I'll use my left hand.
Noted.
It's hard to explain. I'll eat with my left hand. I'll use the left hand for a fork. I use the right hand. I guess I'll pick up a glass with either hand. But
Some type of alien?
That's a little freakish.
It is. So weird.
I throw with my right hand. I bat. I started left-handed, but I can bat either way, and I golf right-handed.
So you've squandered a career in professional sports to do this.
Pretty much.
Okay.
What do you kick with?
Well, with
Like if you're playing soccer.
Yeah, I guess my strength leg would be my right leg.
So you're kind of like me because I throw left, I bat right, I kick right. So yeah,
I can kick left because of all the years of martial arts. But if I just want to wind up and kick something, it'll probably be my right leg.
Okay.
But it's weird with my hand. It could be either thing. I'm pretty balanced with my hands. It's strange, and part of it, since none of you guys are left-handed, growing up in the 1970s.
Oh, I am.
Oh, you are left-handed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy,
Okay.
everybody's outing themselves tonight. I had no idea.
All these secrets. No, but growing up, especially in the 1970s, that was discouraged, being left-handed. And there weren't any quote-unquote left-handed scissors or desks or
What were you guys shunned? What is this?
No, I'm being serious. No.
He's not
Teachers discouraged me being left-handed and tried to convert me to being right-handed.
With the shock therapy?
No.
What is happening?
Just
Reach for
just a
something with your
paddle.
left hand and you get a
No,
little
but
shock?
there weren't any tools or things available for a left-hander. We had the single-person desk in a lot of my schools, so they were made predominantly for right-handers. And so my left hand was coming from the open side, nowhere to put my forearm to right. And so if you're left-hander, you're kind of crooked your wrist. So everyone can see me on YouTube.
Yeah, I
So
legit
weird.
had
It is.
a couple nightmares before high school because all I ever saw on TV was the right-handed desks, and I'm like, how am I gonna survive?
Yeah,
What
I
type
don't know.
of world are you lefties living in?
A world that does not want us. I don't know if it's different now, but back then it was discouraged. I mean, it was
discouraged.
I think it was Miss Thompson, first grade teacher, who actively said, "Have you considered writing with the other hand?" It's like, no,
What?
no.
Have you considered not being a mutant?
Look, I think it's my mutant power, actually. But look, all my teachers are dead, so I can talk mess about them. I think, with the exception of Mrs. Pennington, I think she might still be alive.
You must be a raging cauldron of PTSD, and resentment.
Yeah. I remember all my teachers and why I didn't like them.
And that's why it was funny that my mom even was like, I'm surprised that, because I know how to drive a stick. And she's like, I thought it would be weird for you since
It's
you're
backwards.
left-handed.
Yes.
It's backwards.
Yeah, it is backwards. And if you put me in a European car, I would be fine.
Yeah.
I would be absolutely fine. Now, the shift is obviously reversed, but, it wouldn't bother me.
I should have had you as my driver, and you can go with that where you want to. But when I drove around Ireland with the long-suffering one,
Driving Miss Lazy?
yeah, we had to get used to driving on that side of the car and that side of the road. And we just cheated death. It was like being in one of those crappy Final Destination movies. I'm sure that death is coming for me because we had some narrow escapes.
I have yet to drive on the other side of the road, but I want to. I desperately want to.
You were born to do it, clearly.
Yeah, eventually. But, yeah, I've always felt different to answer your mutant question or the intimation.
It was an insult.
No, thank you very much. Miss Parchment, my kindergarten teacher, she was very nice to me. She gently, in a very subtle way, suggested you might want to use the scissors because we're doing arts and crafts. Use my other hand for scissors.
I mean, it's like they're hiding communism or something back in the day. Like, what is it?
No. Actually, no, because there was a feeling that left-handers were different intellectually, and I wouldn't say it was like you were slow, as they used to say back then.
Like Mark's joking, but yeah, we were looked at as mutants.
There's like something wrong with us.
Yeah.
Being dead serious. Miss Thompson, may she rest in peace. Don't like her, but yeah, she tried to change me. Miss Cochran in second grade, she did. Miss Pennington, third grade, she was fine with it. I think Mr. Crumley, fourth grade, gave up. And Miss Traver, the one who would wrap your knuckles if you were not holding your pen or pencil correctly.
Oh, with a ruler?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's terrible.
That was when corporal punishment was on its way out, but she was still doing it. She was fine with it at that point.
Well, we love the two of you with all your humiliating flaws.
Yeah, go to hell. It's Later with Mo Kelly.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, it's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, live on Instagram and the iHeartRadio app. And we're hearing that it's going to be called Motown in the YouTube chat. I'm not against that.
That's pretty cool.
But we can't copyright it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And Mo Migos is in the lead. Mo Migos talking in Motown. And if you're just tuning in, just want to let you know, we will be giving away Harry Potter and the Cursed Child tickets in the second hour. And if you log on to the YouTube chat in the next 10 or 15 minutes or so, we'll tell you when exactly those tickets will be given away. You might want to know that just in case you want a chance to win one of the 3 pairs we're giving away. And I didn't know this, to switch gears, I didn't know this until you gave me the story, that California has an active undersea volcano.
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yes,
okay. Sir. And at least it's not right next to L.A., but still it's off the coast of California in the San Francisco area. It's about 700 miles northwest of San Francisco. And they call the volcano Axial Seamount. And it's drawing increasing scrutiny from scientists who only discovered its existence in the 1980s. Still, I hadn't heard about it. Mm-hmm. And they think it might erupt on a low level by the end of this calendar year. And I'm thinking, if you told me California, volcano, I'm thinking like, okay, this is like the plot of some movie with Tommy Lee Jones or something.
What am I looking at?
That lake was 62 degrees yesterday. Today it's up to 68.
That's a sunny day.
It is lovely, isn't it? Mr. Roy, it takes a geological event to heat 1 million gallons of water by 6 degrees in 12 hours.
What is a geological event?
I'm sure you're aware of this, that our continents sit on tectonic plates. Great big rafts floating over an ocean of molten rock.
Yeah.
When they shift like they did this morning, we get an earthquake. Okay? Same mechanism can sometimes open a fissure. Sometimes magma can find one of those fissures and rise up through it.
What's magma?
Lava.
Lava? Here in L.A.
It's one of several possibilities. It is unlikely, but it is a possibility.
We have a history of that here in the downtown area?
Patacutin. 1943, a Mexican farmer sees smoke coming out of the middle of his cornfield.
Listen to this.
A week later, there's a volcano 1,000 feet high.
Okay.
There's no history of anything until it happens.
There's no history of anything until it happens. Maybe it's life imitating art. Maybe we'll have an eruption and lava pouring into San Francisco.
I love that they tried to dismiss it as, it's probably going to be nothing. It's a volcano just off the coast of San Francisco. No, if that happens, if it just explodes, Mount Vesuvius in the San Francisco Bay.
They didn't know it was there until the 1980s. It probably predates the 1980s. Scientists have been known to be wrong about predicting the eruptions of volcanoes.
Yes.
They almost never get it right. Never. Hey, Mark, I'm sorry, because I know you're busy. Where were you during Mount St. Helens?
I was in Washington State, across the state from it, but it covered everything. It was like snowfall everywhere.
What was the news lead up to it from what you remember? Were they semi-accurate? Were people somewhat concerned, or did they try to dismiss it?
Oh, I don't remember. I was just a kid. I mean, there were the people like that Harry Truman guy. I was, who refused to move out of his cabin, I think, and he quickly became the late Harry Truman. So yeah, the science deniers always have a great history of outcomes.
All I can say is I didn't know about this until today. They say that there's a possibility, or a remote possibility, that it could erupt before the end of this calendar year. The scientists also say that it would be a minor eruption. Well, yeah, it's minor until it's not. You know, you can only forecast what it's going to be to a certain degree. They may not expect that, but who knows? All I know is there is an undersea volcano which is active just off the coast of California. They say that if it erupts, it would not trigger a tsunami. Until it does.
They're saying a whole lot. They're having a whole lot of predictions about what could possibly happen that really, truly no one was asking for. Why did they have to release this in the first place? They could have just kept quiet about it. They're telling us about it in small doses now so that when it does get closer, they can say, hey, so remember that underground, undersea volcano, whichever, it's a little more active. It's a little more ready to pop. You all need to get out of California.
There's no history of anything until it happens. When we come back, I'll be joined on the line by registered nurse Amy Wolk. She is a part of the striking nurses at Long Beach Medical Center who they're going to go on strike tomorrow. We're going to preview that and also see where the negotiations are, if anywhere at all, in just a moment. It's later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on YouTube, the iHeartRadio app, and Instagram.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, it's later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. Let's talk to registered nurse Amy Wolk, who is at Miller Children and Women's Hospital in Long Beach, as we talk about the forthcoming strike, the one-day strike, which is coming up on Thursday, May 22nd. Amy, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mo?
I'm doing fine. And I want to add that you're also on the bargaining team. So you will literally be sitting at the table. This is presuming that management comes to the table. I spoke to one of your colleagues about a week or so ago, and at that point, management had not made any overtures that they were ready to negotiate. Has anything changed?
No, nothing has changed. And if anything, it's just gotten, I guess, a lot more stressful in the hospital setting. Not only am I on the bargaining team, but I'm also one of the nurses that was laid off in the outpatient specialty clinic, that we call the village, the children's village. So I'm wearing a couple of different hats right now. I'm trying to support my nurses, and I'm also trying to support myself through this hard time.
How many, I'm sorry, jump in there, but how many people were laid off in this most recent round of medical staff being laid off?
We had about 78 nurses laid off, 55 nurses in the outpatient setting in the specialty center where we take care of kids with all kinds of special needs, chronic health conditions. 47 out of 69 of our nurses were laid off. That's 70% of our nurses.
When you have that much of a loss of staff, how does that translate to patient care? Where does that impact you?
Personally, I think it's going to really impact patient care. A lot of our nurses out in the outpatient center, we had a meeting today, and some of those nurses have been nursing for 30 years, some of them 20 years, and in the outpatient setting, a lot of us, like I'm one of the newbies, and I've been there 8 years. So it's been a place where we have brought our skill and our love for these kids to keep them safe and to keep them healthy. And by taking us out of the village, we feel that it's not going to be a safe place for these kids right now anyway.
What are nurses at Long Beach Medical Center asking for in this hopefully eventual negotiation?
What are we asking for? We are asking for all kinds of things. We're asking to address our concerns about staffing, about workplace violence, and recruitment and retention. We have situations where our nurses in some of our units, like the NICU, the IC, that's the neonatal intensive care unit, the intensive care unit, and in the ER, these nurses all work 12-hour shifts, but sometimes they don't get breaks. And sometimes they're asked to work another 4 hours. Now think about that. Trying to care for sick patients, and you're trying to do that over a 16-hour period. So we are really concerned, first of all, for our nurses and their safety, but also for our patient safety.
Beyond the patient safety, I understand that management is going to be bringing in other nurses for this one-day strike to cover the staff who will be striking. How does that play out? Is that even feasible?
That they can take care of our patients?
Correct.
Well, I'm sure that they will be able to take care of them. Will they be able to do as good of a job as we do? No. Mm-hmm. And we feel that, the hospital's response, first of all, we gave the strike notice, and we gave it a day before our last bargaining day with the hopes that they were going to come to the table and give us some things that we could actually look at, that we could talk about, because we haven't felt like there's been a good conversation going back and forth in terms of these proposals. So this one-day strike, we did that because we wanted to take care of our patients. Locking us out for 5 days, it's a tremendous cost to the medical center and to the community. They signed the contract to replace us for 5 days. That's millions of dollars that they could have put back into the hospital and put into, safety. We're asking. We have issues with workplace violence, and we've asked for, metal detectors. Mm-hmm. They said, well, yeah, we'll get that for you. But now they're saying, well, we can't. Maybe they're not going to do that right away, the way that they were going to. The nurses in the outpatient setting were offered a severance package. They're now saying that they're not going to give us that severance package because it's costing them money to bring those other nurses in. So we're upset.
Beyond being upset, I, as an outsider, am looking at this from 30,000 feet up, as they say, and I see that there is a management component who doesn't seem willing to come to the bargaining table and is okay with going through or enduring this quote unquote one-day strike, even though it may be over 5 days that you've been locked out. If we are to assume that management is going to hold their stance and not come to the bargaining table, at least in the near future, does that mean that your union will then possibly call for a longer strike in the future?
Mo, we're going to take one day at a time here. Okay. We're going to get through this strike. We're going to get back and take care of our patients. And then we will discuss next steps. Right now, we're not there. We want to focus on the present and just getting through the next few days.
Amy, can I get you to hold on for a moment? I'd love to carry over our conversation into the next segment. Can you do that for me?
Sure.
Joining me right now on the line is registered nurse Amy Woke. She is at Miller Children and Women's Hospital, formerly at Long Beach Medical Center. We're talking about the forthcoming strike, the one-day strike on Thursday, May 22nd, of nurses who have also been locked out for 5 days by management. We're going to talk about what is going to happen during the strike and what is going to happen possibly moving forward. We'll have more in just a moment. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Ooh, Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
We're live everywhere on YouTube, Instagram, and the iHeartRadio app. And if you're just tuning in, I'm right in the middle of a conversation with registered nurse Amy Woke, who works at Miller Children and Women's Hospital in Long Beach, but she's also on the bargaining team for Long Beach Medical Center nurses who are going to go on a one-day strike on Thursday, May 22nd, but they've also been locked out by management over the course of 5 days. And Amy, let me bring you back into the conversation. We talked about what has been leading up to this moment, how management from where you sit has not been responsive to your requests, your demands, or even the desire to negotiate. And I was asking you about what the future may hold, and you're trying to take this one step at a time. But at the beginning of our conversation, I talked about how there were a number of nurses and staff which was laid off. I just want to make sure that I have my information correct, that there was no management who was laid off. It was just frontline nurses. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my understanding. There were a couple of respiratory therapists, I think, that were also laid off, and a few other people within the hospital, but no high management at all. No management at all. So yeah, and the whole thing about the strike is interesting. They keep saying that we're in the hole in terms of money, yet they're willing to spend 4 days extra on a lockout, which is costing millions of dollars, which again, that they could have put back into the contracts, back into nursing care. It's like, did they really need to get rid of the 78 nurses if they can put this amount of money into bringing in outside nurses? There's a disconnect.
From what you understand, this is just a cost-cutting measure. They're trying to get rid of staff. They're trying to make sure that you do not get raises. What has management said about any of this up until this point as far as the why?
The why is basically the concern for Medi-Cal cuts. They're coming, and we're also seeing that hospitals nationwide are not being reimbursed as much. So, but I think there's more to it, and I just can't put my finger on it. But it's just very frustrating when we're sitting across the table and the hospital keeps, what they want to focus on is taking our rights as nurses away, trying to take our union away from us, and not focusing on the bigger problems.
You say take your union away. You think that they're actively trying to bust the union altogether. It's bigger than this one particular negotiation.
Yes. I think, they're looking at trying to prevent our union reps from coming into the hospital. They don't want nurse reps to come into the hospital. It's called loitering. They want to make it so that we have to go through what's called mandatory arbitration, which means that if we get hurt in the hospital, they want us to go to their lawyers to have them figure it out instead of us being able to hire our own lawyer. And Mo, the way I see it is there's a lack of respect for nursing in the hospital. We are considered units of service. That was a term that was used across the table, that we are units of service. So they're looking at us in terms of widgets or in terms of a business model. Healthcare should not be a business model. Healthcare should be available to anybody and everybody. And in this time, our healthcare system is turning into a sick care model. When you wipe out the nurses in the specialty center where we're taking care of kids with chronic health conditions, having them live to the best of their ability, and then you take those nurses away, those kids are going to end up back in the hospital. So what are we doing?
Amy, my time is running out with you, but I want you to put it in as stark terms as possible. If an agreement is not reached in the near future between the nurses of Long Beach Medical Center and management, what does that mean for patients? What does that mean for medical care? Bigger picture, because I assume whatever happens at Long Beach Medical Center could probably happen at any other hospital.
Well, I think, again, I want to focus on what's happening now. I can't look too far out into the future. I want to focus on what we can possibly do now. And we do have hope that the hospital will come back to the table after the strike. And that, safe staffing is key for taking care of our patients and for attracting and retaining staff nurses. So, they need to invest in us, and hopefully they'll bring some of us back.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. Thank you so much, Amy Wolk, for coming on. She is a nurse at Miller Children and Women's Hospital in Long Beach. We will continue to follow that story. It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. And we're live on the iHeartRadio app.
We're not here to tell you what to think. We're here to give you the latest.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.